Alright guys, in this video we're going to be taking a little bit of time here to go over yet another leak that has come out regarding the specifications for both the PlayStation 5 and the next generation Xbox. And I think you guys are going to be interested in this one because there is a 50-50 chance here. I'm not going to lie to you. It's coming directly from 4chan. So right off the bat, you can either write it off as this is completely fake, or there's a chance that maybe this is actually legitimate. Either way, we don't know where this is coming from, or I should say who this is coming from. There's no way to tell if this is the real thing, and I know that a lot of you are getting tired of the leaks and the rumors, but you have to understand, based off of my analytics, what it tells me is that there is a large group of people who do enjoy keeping up with all of the different leaks and rumors when it comes to the next generation consoles, regardless of whether or not they turn out to be true or not. And so with that in mind, hopefully you are understanding of that. And if you're not interested in a video like this, I can encourage you to check out the video I put out earlier, or we have a new episode of the Press X podcast that I just recorded yesterday where there's a bunch of different PlayStation related topics we can go over and discuss. We talk a lot about dreams in that podcast. But yeah, before going any further, if you are somebody who is going to enjoy this video or you're excited to hear this information, be sure to hit the like button. It really helps the video out, and make sure you hit the subscribe button as well. But getting into it here, it says originating from 4chan, just like most PS5 leaks so far, the new Spec leak supposedly comes from a game tester who has been using the updated second version of the PS5 dev kit for a third-party studio. Now again, I wanted to highlight this part because, of course, it could be completely made up. Anybody can go on 4chan and say, I'm a game tester and I've been using these dev kits, but it is worth noting that what I heard is that right before Christmas is when Sony sent out the update. I don't know if it's the final updated dev kit. I'm sure there's going to be more, but the latest version of the dev kit, that's the update they sent out right before Christmas. And after that is when I started hearing from some individuals across the internet. This is when they started to say that based off of the contacts they have, the PS5 is actually outperforming the next generation Xbox. Now, of course, power is not everything. We talk about this all the time. It doesn't matter to me which one ends up being more powerful. It really doesn't. All I know is that these consoles are going to be very similar, more than likely, regardless of which one turns out to be the more powerful console here. But it is interesting to take a look at these specs that have come out. It says the CPU for the PlayStation 5 is going to have an AMD Zen 2 at 3.6 gigahertz. The CPU for the Xbox Series will be an AMD Zen 2 at 3.7 gigahertz. The GPU, and this is where it's really interesting, apparently the GPU for the PlayStation 5 will be 12.6 T-flops, and it'll be using RDNA 1.5, and the GPU for the Xbox Series will be 11.8 T-flops, also on RDNA 1.5. The RAM for the PlayStation 5 is going to be 18 gigabytes GDDR6 plus 4 gigabytes of DDR4. For the Xbox Series, it's going to be 16 gigabytes of GDDR6 plus 4 gigabytes of DDR4. And this is where it gets really interesting. When it comes to the storage, the PlayStation 5 features a 500 gigabyte SSD at 5.5 gigabytes per second, and the Xbox Series has a 1 terabyte SSD at 3.8 gigabytes per second. When it comes to bandwidth for the PS5, it's going to be 576 gigabytes per second. On the Xbox Series, it will be 596 gigabytes per second. Now, what makes this incredibly interesting is right off the bat, it paints a very powerful PlayStation 5, more powerful than a lot of people on, the other side of the fence want to believe it is going to be. Now, I don't necessarily know if I believe this, right? Again, this is a 50-50 thing here. This could be completely made up. But I will say it would really back up a lot of what we've been hearing for the past 12 months now at this point, where it feels like we've been hearing from all around the industry that based off of people who have contacts with, third-party developers and whatnot, it seems that they're all coming back kind of saying that, yeah, these consoles are pretty much on equal footing. They're kind of the same. And we've even heard at a few times that the PS5 has outperformed the Xbox Series, at least based off of, some sources. I believe Jason Schreier is probably the most credible source I believe we've heard that from. Now, we haven't heard anything from, a big-name source recently, and so, again, this might not be true. It's really strange to look at Sony going with potentially 500 gigabytes for their SSD. It is possible they would do this. I think a lot of people would be really, really upset. This would also explain maybe them wanting to do some type of proprietary, upgraded storage. We've been hearing rumors about that in the past as well, or there's been some speculation about Sony wanting to do something like that. I also believe that in this leak, the individual who claims to be a game tester is saying that at some point in the not too distant future, Microsoft is going to be sending out their updated dev kits, which will bump the T-flop number from 11.8 to 12.1. And if you have a situation where the PS5 is 12.6 T-flops and the Xbox Series is 12.1, I mean, they're almost identical at that point. It would really make a lot of sense why people are saying that they've been hearing that the PS5 outperforms the Xbox Series, because when you look at that SSD, that's probably where you're going to see the slight performance boost, not to mention, having a slightly better RAM. But overall, I mean, I guess what seems so believable about these specifications to me is simply just the fact that, again, it puts these consoles basically on even footing, right? Like, it seems to me that whoever would make up a leak like this, they're not trying to tip the scales into the favor of one or the other, But again, we really don't know. There's been a lot of people who are still committed to that 9.2 T-flop leak, who are claiming that that is the real deal, that's coming basically from AMD or from sources who are, who follow AMD and are accurate with this stuff. And the truth is, guys, there's so many leaks, there's so many rumors, there's so many different things that come out and so much talk, and there's going to be until we get the final specs for these consoles. But again, I just wanted to keep you guys up to date. This is the latest leak that I've come across that kind of piqued my interest a little bit. Maybe it is because it does paint an extremely powerful PS5, which is, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting to see if these are how the final specs end up looking. And again, this is like a 50-50 thing here. This person could have just completely made this up, and I know there's a lot of people, they immediately hear it's from 4chan and they just write it off and they're like, nope, I don't want to hear it. However, we do have to understand that from time to time, we do actually get some legitimate leaks that come from these sources. That's why people continue to, pay attention to some of these things that are being said. So that's going to do it for the video, guys. Again, I know it's another leak video, but hopefully you found it a little bit informative. At the very least, hopefully you found it a little bit entertaining to take a good look at these specs that this person put out here. So let me know your thoughts about this down in the comments below. I will be interested to see what you guys have to say. Leave the video a like if you did enjoy it or enjoy the content. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and haven't already. Hit the bell notification icon so you never miss an upload, and feel free to share this video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.